Welcome in to Fired Up episode 15. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now. My name is Mike Gilletto. Joining me, as usual, is Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Not much. You got a little delay. Are you good? You all right?
I think so. Are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good. Well, let's just, we'll keep trekking along here. We'll see what happens. How's your week been?
Interesting.
Interesting.
A lot of nothing and a lot of something. So
Well, that's always fun.
I don't.
That's always fun. Well, we do got a lot to talk about. We plan on jumping into the Phillies trade deadline. There was that. They did a little something. I think they're tied right now, 1-1. To the Nationals, I believe they play tonight, right? So we have a little bit left to talk about. We'll dive deep into the Eagles. Training camp started. They're up and running. Yeah, man, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about. Let's talk Phillies first. All right. You can hear me, right, Dom? You're good.
Yeah, we're all good. I think we're good, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just making sure. But okay, let's talk Phillies. I mean, the trade deadline happened. They didn't really make any big moves, right? Nothing was crazy. I mean, the biggest move they made was getting Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, prospect Hans Kraus, and $4 million. Which Hans is a great name. Let's just be honest.
It seems like a hockey name, right?
It does, yeah. Hans Kraus. It's a great name.
Yeah.
But so the Phillies did trade Spencer Howard and prospects Kevin Gowdy and Josh Gessner, both pitchers. Never heard of them. Probably just minor leaguers at this point.
You probably never will.
But right, the big one though is Spencer Howard.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean he was the top prospect, right, for the Phillies. The last couple of years. I mean, he obviously didn't play like that, but we know the story about
right.
Phillies prospects, right?
Right, you're getting some love right here in the comments. There you go. So, but yeah, no, I mean Spencer Howard. Now he's one of the things where like were the Phillies, like Phillies fan base, maybe not even the organization, was the fan base just overvaluing him and thought he was going to be this next big thing, or was development? Did he just not develop within this system? Or a combination of both. I mean, it could be both.
I mean, I don't know if the Phillies. I don't know about the part of about the fans overvaluing him, because he was their top prospect. I mean, the fans don't come up with the top prospects. The league does. So
true.
Just because, but here's the thing: just because he's your top prospect doesn't mean he's that good. You know, he could be the 50th best prospect in the league or the 100th best prospect in the league. Especially with this, farm system,
right? Yeah, that's more of an indictment on the farm system.
He was good. Yeah, right. I mean, he was good in coming through up until he made his major league debut and the major league part of his career. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely disappointing seeing him not pan out to what he's supposed to be or was supposed to be. I mean, he's still got a lot of time to figure that out, but it kind of sucks not being here.
Right. Yeah. My dog's going nuts. But yeah.
No, it's all right.
I mean, it's just one of the things where, like, again, it's just the development thing is just, it sucks to see giving up on a guy this early. And like, that's the thing is they got a guy, Kyle Gibson, who's struggled this year for the most part. Had a good.
No, he's had a career year.
Maybe second half.
Yeah,
I thought second half. Didn't he struggle in the second half?
All-star. No, he's an all-star this year.
Okay, well, maybe it was Kennedy then that struggled in the second. One of them struggled, hasn't it?
Probably.
Or am I making that up completely? I could be making that up.
It might be Kennedy, but Gibson's having a career year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
Gibson's having a career year. All-star game. I think he's at this point in his career, or at this point in the season, is the most strikeouts he's had, or something stupid like that. No, but I think he was like 4 or 5 games over 500. Like, he's having a good year.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, okay. He's 20 games pitched, 7-3, 2.86 ERA, 119
Yeah.
innings, 99 strikeouts. Yeah, no, he's been very good. Okay, he's been very good.
Yeah,
So,
no, I mean, not Hap. I keep calling him Hap. I get Ian Kennedy and J.A. Happ so confused. I don't know why, but Kennedy,
maybe because there's an E in Hap. Maybe that's why.
yeah, possibly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Kennedy, I just remember. I remember when he was a starter, earlier in his career. I really, honestly, I didn't even know he was still pitching. I didn't even know he was still in the league.
Right.
And he's up there in age. He's probably what 38, 37. So
Yeah. But I mean, they just needed. Yeah, they just needed starters, right? Like Velasquez wasn't getting it done. We'll get to him a little later. But like Matt Moore, these guys just aren't working out. They just needed a pitcher, and Kyle Gibson gives them that. Third guy right now. Hopefully fourth when Eflin comes back, which I think they're shooting for mid-August. But so we'll see what happens there.
And to reiterate about the the Spencer Howard stuff. It just goes back to the Phillies. They not only can they not draft, but they definitely can't draft at that position. The two best pitchers they've probably drafted in the last 25 years at least starting pitching, Nola, Hamels, and Brett Myers.
Right.
Like
when Brett Myers now Brett Myers was fine. When he's third on that list, that you got a problem.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And he was a first round pick in 97 or whatever it was, 98, right? I forget which year it was. But that mid to late 90s, I mean, like you said, he's your third best on that list, man. Whew. Even Hamels, Hamels was a very good pitcher. He's not a Hall of Famer, but if he's the best pitcher you got, I mean, in the last 25 years, come on.
Well, I mean, he was very, very, very good in maybe a 4 or 5 year stretch. I mean, he probably doesn't have the longevity to be a Hall of Famer, Hamels,
right?
So
no, for sure, yeah. No, he was tremendous in the playoffs in 08. He was great from 06. I was a rookie, 05, 06 to like 2011. I mean, he was great, but man, it's just like you could go to like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox, the teams that can spend money and draft, and they just shit on the Phillies,
right? Or teams like the Cardinals and the Astros, right? Who draft really well and they know when to get rid of their guys before they pay them, and they just keep turning over because they can draft so well.
Even Tampa Bay, like Tampa.
Right, yeah.
It's a very good system of guys that get drafted.
Right.
So even Pittsburgh isn't terrible at drafting. They just trade everybody. So I don't know.
But
I don't know what to do. I mean, that's the thing. It's not a 5-year problem. It's been a 25, 30, 40-year problem.
Right. Yeah. Right, exactly. Well, Pittsburgh's just a mess though. Like that franchise might be one of the worst in sports. Like just the way that they're just
top 5. It might be number. Really bad. It might be number 1.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you got the what the hell? My dogs are going batshit insane. But yeah, I mean, it's you have the Houston Texans are up there. Like you just got a bunch of bad franchises, and
Detroit Lions,
Detroit Lions, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are right up there at the top, or near the top. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Cleveland Browns. I mean, the list goes on, but definitely the Pirates are up there.
Yeah, but and then what else did you think about this Kyle Gibson trade? Other than the things we said.
I mean, like you said, he's a good 3 for right now. It could be a very good 4. It kind of sucks that like he's a little old. He's a little older than I thought he was. He's in his mid-30s, early to mid-30s. Yeah, I mean, he looked really good. I mean, on Sunday, I don't understand why they kept him out there for 115 pitches. But,
in an 8-1 game or whatever it was at the time, yeah.
Right. I know they didn't really want to dip into their bullpen, but 115 pitches. I mean, like that's 20. I think they said it was 25 or 30 pitches over the most he's thrown this year.
His average his average this year is right around 92.
Right.
So
yeah,
he went well above his average.
Yeah. So it's good to see. Hopefully they could string some wins. Hopefully they could get it together while they have good pitching. So
did you want them to I guess you could call this buying. Did you want them to buy and trade away a guy like Howard, who's younger, who you could still kind of develop in order to try to salvage this year, or did you just want them to just not really do anything because they're not really going anywhere anyway?
Well, for the fun of it, I would have liked to see them buy,
Yeah.
and because they as much as I've shit on them all year, they're still in it.
Right.
My goal this year is just to make the playoffs. It's not to win a World Series. It's just not possible, in my
Right.
opinion. But I don't. I'm not sad to see Spencer Howard go. I'm more sad that it didn't work out the way we were hoping it did. But yeah, I mean, I would have either liked to see them buy more. Which is hard to do because they don't have anything to sell. But
Right.
if they weren't going to buy, I wouldn't want them to sell. To be honest with you, I think that they're, even though they've struggled this year, if they can go out, like I've been saying the last couple episodes, if they can go out and get another pitcher or two, if they can go starters, if they can go get end of the a closer, or a couple more relievers and maybe a center fielder, maybe they're a lot better next year than they are this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could almost say, yeah, they got technically one starter out of this deal. You could almost say they got two because you can move a guy like Kennedy to the bullpen, and their plan is now move Ranger Suarez to a starter role. So he was really good tonight.
Right.
I know they said they're going to work him into more of a lengthy, work him up a little bit. They went into tonight's game saying he's only going to throw 3 innings. He threw 3 innings. He was fantastic in those 3 innings. I would have liked to see them maybe give him a fourth or a fifth, depending on how it went. But he looked great. I mean, if they could get some stuff out of Suarez starting, I mean, that's house. You're playing house money at that point.
Right. What do you think about bullpen games? Just in general.
I'm not a fan of them in like a end all be all, and then maybe not end all be all, but a lot of teams rely on them, and I don't like
Right.
that. Like I understand having to do it in this spot because you're working a guy up, and every once in a while is fine. I think they can get dangerous, especially with a bullpen like the Phillies have. I mean, they're doing well tonight, surprisingly, but with a bullpen like the Phillies, I would steer clear of them at all costs. But that's just me.
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. I mean, I think if you need one out of them, it's fine. But I had heard that I guess prior to the trade for Gibson, or it might have been right after, that there were discussions about every fifth day being a bullpen game, and I just didn't really see it as feasible.
no, it's
Feasible
not
option.
sustainable. Like, because you're just
I just wanted to see what you.
yeah, no, this is not sustainable. You're gonna get beat on every fifth day, almost basically, because the bullpen just can't handle that much workload. One and two, when they do, when they go in there, they're gonna let up the lead a lot of times, or they're gonna let up a lot of runs in those games. So.
For sure.
But then the Phillies did make another move, trading minor league pitcher Tyler Birch, again probably a name you'll never hear, for former Philly Freddie Galvis. What did you make of this trade?
Obviously Freddie, he's had his struggles at the plate, but he's one of the best defensive shortstops in the league. I understood why they did it. They didn't give up anything for him. He's a part of that Phillies era where it's, you don't want to be reminded of, and we're still kind of in that era almost. But it's fine. It's fine. It's it's an old friend. It's for a half a season, so, and he's probably not going to start much. I mean, hopefully he doesn't, but he's a fine bench piece. Great glove.
Right.
He's got good enough speed to be a pinch runner,
Yeah, and on a team that can't field, to save their goddamn lives, I'm perfectly fine with the trade. I mean, again, you didn't give up much, and he's gonna help this defense. So I think that's a big plus right there. I don't know how much he's gonna play. I think he's injured right now. I think he's gonna return fairly soon. I think, right? So. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know how. Yeah. I just don't know how much he's gonna play. Like,
I think they said within like a week or so.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Right. Yeah. If he's going to play a lot, you're in trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you might need him to. I like him in there when Kyle Gibson's pitching because he's a ground ball pitcher, and maybe you need a little bit more defense on those sort of days. But so,
Yeah.
What else do we have here? So, okay. They did announce Velasquez is going on the IL. I don't know how long he's out for. But I'm done with the Vince Velasquez.
Hopefully, it's 17 years.
Yeah, I'm done with the Vince Velasquez experiment. Like, I'm done. And they before they put him on the IL, that they did say Chase Anderson will be taking over that spot, Vince Velasquez spot. I don't know what you're gonna get out of Chase Anderson. I don't know how much of more of an upgrade he is over Vince Velasquez, but I'm done with the Vince Velasquez experiment. I'm done. I don't want to see him again. I don't want to see him starting again. Keep him in the bullpen when he's done after this year. See you later. Goodbye. I'm done.
He's an unrestricted free agent after this year too.
See you later.
The Chase Anderson, I mean, can he be worse than Vince Velasquez? So give him the shot. You know what I mean? It's somebody new to start every fifth day. So why not?
Right.
It's not ideal, but it's August and there's no such thing as waivers, I guess, or whatever it was in baseball. I forget. It's
they used to have
post trade deadline.
Yeah, if you could put somebody on waivers after the regular deadline, and you would have until the last day of August.
September.
I think.
Yeah.
You'd have the last day of August to trade them if you put them on waiver. It was very bizarre. They got rid of that like a couple years ago. I think.
Quick trivia for you. This doesn't count, but
okay.
do you know who in 08 what happened? Who the Phillies got a couple weeks into August?
I don't remember. When you say it, I'll probably remember. But
Big Joe Blanton.
Joe Blanton. I was gonna say pitcher. I just
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Listen, and he he had some big moments too in that run.
For sure.
So there you go.
Homer in the playoffs.
All right. Exactly. So there you go. You got anything Phillies before we move on to the Eagles?
Well, real quick, did you see what Spencer Howard said in his press conference?
I did not.
With
No.
Texas?
No.
A lot of people are up in arms. If you want to try to find it real quick, I'll try to explain it to you. But basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically like trashes the organization, his development in the organization. They have very much like I didn't know a lot of things beforehand. He's like, they told me one thing and I kind of went down to the minors to pitch innings and then they kind of just effluent went down. So then they brought me back up and they didn't really tell me what the plan was or anything like that. It was crazy. I mean, a lot of people were up in arms with it. I really didn't find it like that like crazy or anything. I mean, it's a young guy getting a new start. So like, obviously he's excited. It hasn't worked here yet, or really at all. So, it was
I can't seem to find
very not surprised. It was not surprising at all, really, about what he said about the organization. So, I mean, it wasn't anything huge either.
Yeah, no, I can't find it right now. I'll have to look for that after. But no, it's not surprising at all. It's not surprising at all.
It wasn't anything too crazy, but I know a lot of people. Do you expect anything less from the Phillies?
Right, exactly. No, not
sure,
not at all.
But
so, all right. Well, let's move on to the Eagles. Right, you had nothing else Phillies wise, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, the Eagles did officially start training camp on the 27th, I think, of July. But it didn't start, in a good way, right? Devontae Smith hurt, left practice with an injury. He's out week to week, so who knows how long that's going to take. And it's just kind of a week by week thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about it. It's just a sprain. If it was the regular season right now, he'd probably be playing through it. So, it kind of sucks. I'll be at the practice on Sunday. It kind of sucks that I won't be able to see him, but it's better to play it safe than sorry, especially with this, organization in this city about, the amount of injuries we go through. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Something's wrong with the medical staff, right? Like It's every
It's
year.
something in the water. I keep saying it's something in the water. It's every team.
Right, exactly.
It's not just the Eagles.
Right, exactly. Um, so I mean, we'll just kind of do like an Eagles preview here, right? I know you say you wanted to, you had a few questions lined up you wanted to ask me, while we were live. So let's just jump right into those, and we can
Yeah.
kind of do a breakdown of
Right.
the Eagles season.
Yeah, for sure. And we're a little delayed here. We're
We're
having a little bit of connection issue, so
we're
trying to
battling.
work
Yeah,
through
we're
it here.
battling through the elements. The Wi-Fi is all sorts of fucked up right now. So hopefully we get this figured out. Bear with us here. We'll get there.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I mean, I just had a couple questions to throw at you. Just kind of getting an idea of, like you said, we're a couple days, couple weeks in the training camp. Preseason starts next week. Actually, football starts this week in the Hall of Fame game.
Right.
So I'm excited for Thursday. I'm gonna probably watch for 5 minutes and then be bored.
Right.
But preseason starts next week. Like I said, I'm going to the practice on Sunday. I'm excited. So I just wanted to pick your brain here a little bit.
Okay.
So first I got for you, who are you most excited for this upcoming season, and why?
I have a feeling like a lot of this talk is going to revolve really around one person. Because I think he's the most important for the Eagles' success, and that's because it's the most important position of the Eagles' success. Like I'm excited, and maybe I don't have the expectation that he's gonna do big things, but I'm excited to see what he can do, and that's Jalen Hurts. Like just show me something, right? Because we saw a little bit of flashes and a little bit of time. Show me something in a long term, actual collection of game, and let's see what you can do over the course of a season.
Yeah, I mean, I had two guys on my list here, and that's one of them. I definitely agree. This season is seeing what Hurts is.
Right.
Can he be a franchise quarterback? Is he a backup quarterback? Is he an NFL quarterback? We don't know these things. He had flashes, like you said, like he had flashes last year. And let's see what he does for a whole season.
Who was the other guy on your list? I imagine Smith, Devontae Smith.
Yes, it is Devontae Smith.
Okay.
Just kind of seeing how he plays this year. How his game translates from college to the NFL. So I'm excited to see a guy who can play consistent, and hopefully this can be him.
Right.
So
yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Yeah. So now let's get into the next one. Who is an under the radar player you're most excited for? So not a guy like Devontae or Hurts, just an under the radar kind of guy. Again, it could be 1, 2, 3 guys, whoever. Doesn't have to be a rookie. It could be a vet.
I don't know if he's under the radar because we just started to hear about him, right? And I think he's going to play. I think he's going to be really important to the defense, and maybe you won't even hear him that much. Maybe he won't be a flashy or whatever. But it's Steven Nelson. Like, just what he can do for that defense on the other side of Slay. I think he's going to be great for this defense. I think he's an under the radar guy. And maybe he doesn't even classify as under the radar because he was still one of the top cornerbacks available. But he's a defensive player that people probably just won't realize is on the field, but he's going to be effective.
Yeah, he's definitely the type of guy who's not as you don't think he's as good as he is. Like you're kind of surprised by his talent. I'm not saying he's Dion, but like he's a nice cornerback, and I don't know if other fans or teams really know how good he is.
Right. And yeah, I'm not expecting to be a shutdown. I'm not expecting to be a shutdown corner by any means. Like he's not Revis Island back in those days, right? Like that's not who he is. But what this team was lacking, the guy on the other side of Slay, I think he was just a perfect fit for this defense.
For sure.
That's why I think he's just such a big addition.
He's a very, very good number 2.
Right.
Like you said, perfect, fits in perfect.
Yeah.
I got a couple guys on my list.
Okay.
So a couple under the radar guys. I'd like to. I'm excited seeing what Ryan Kerrigan brings and what his role is going to be. He's not going to be a starting defensive end. He's going to get some snaps, but he's going to be like more in that Chris Long. I think we said before in that Chris Long role.
Right.
But I'm just excited to see what he's got. Is he the guy he was a couple years ago? I'm excited to see what kind of role they put him in. Another guy.
I like that answer.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy's also, it's a young guy, not a rookie, but he's also not a vet yet, I would say. Josh Sweat.
Okay.
if he could stay healthy, he's really good. He's been really good when healthy.
We've
It's just
seen a lot of
He's
flashes.
had issues.
We've seen a
Yeah.
lot of flashes over the last couple of years, but yeah, the health thing's an issue. But hey, he's a Philadelphia Eagle, and health problems just exist. That's just what happens.
For sure. For sure. It's in the water.
Right.
The last guy I got, Travis Fulgham. I'd like to see what he could bring to the table in this new offense that like might not allow him to disappear like in Doug's offense. What we saw last year is if he didn't play well or he didn't practice well, you'd see him lose snaps or not get the ball. And I'd like to see him instead of what did he play? 8 games last year,
Right.
10 games. I'd like to see him over, 16, 17, 18 games.
Right.
So, or 18 weeks. So, those are the 3 guys I'm most excited for the under.
Yeah,
under
I have
radar
one
guys.
more, and I don't even know if he classifies as under the radar because he's been such a big part of this team for so long, but nobody expected him to still be here, and that's Zach Ertz. I mean, apparently he looks, again, it's 1 week in the training camp, so I don't want to overreact, but apparently he looks really good in training camp. He looks better than people probably expected coming in, and nobody expected him to even be on this roster, a month or 2 ago, and nobody expects him to be here probably week 1, and it looks like that's a legit possibility. So I think he could be a potential under the radar guy if you want to go that way.
For sure. And I'm not sure if you saw, he's got the bleached hair.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's got bleached hair. Somebody on Twitter, the first day of training camp, took a picture and said, "Dear Carson, I hope. What's the Eminem line? Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling." It said, "Dear Carson, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my home, myself, my pager at the bottom, or whatever the lyrics are from Stan." Yep. But I thought that was hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah, he's got the blonde hair.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, man, it looks like he's going through something.
That's
his
hilarious.
emo phase.
I'll try to find it. That is funny.
All right, so going on the next thing. Now we know about the running back situation. It's a very crowded backfield this year. So what do you think about those group of guys like Sanders, Howard, Johnson, Scott, Gainwell? I don't even know if there's probably a couple more bodies there.
There is,
but those are probably going to be the 5 or 6 guys that.
Those are the main ones.
Right.
I mean,
for sure.
Obviously.
So what do you think? What do you think the Eagles should do in a crowded backfield? Like if you got who do you think who do they cut? Like, give me your opinion.
Well, we've talked about in the past that Sirianni in his days in Indianapolis have run a very run style, have been very successful on the run. So I'm really excited to see this group, this running back core, because they are crowded and they do have talent. I mean, Sanders obviously is a lock, right? Like, he's not going anywhere. He's not getting cut.
Right.
He's a lock. I think they're going to keep 4 running backs is my guess, because again, it's a crowded room. And anything after 4 gets a little shaky with other roster spots, and you just can't afford to carry them that much.
Especially with the receivers always being hurt in the last couple of years. You probably need to keep another extra body or two from the receivers, so that takes away a spot from the running back and the offensive line too. I mean, the offensive line's been banged up, so.
Right. Yeah, so you just can't afford really to carry any more than 4. So I'm going to go 4. I'm going to say Sanders. I'm going to say Howard. I'm going to say Kerryon Johnson. All 3 of those guys have veteran presence. That they've been here before. They know what it takes. And then they just spent a draft pick on Kenneth Gainwell. Like, I don't see them cutting him. There was a 4th or 5th round pick. I don't see them cutting him, so I'm going to say Gainwell gets that 4th spot, and then you cut a guy like Boston Scott. I mean, I haven't seen much from Boston Scott. People are in love with the Darren Sproles comparison. I don't see it, other than he's short as shit. That's really the only the comparison stops there, in my opinion. Right. So I just don't see it with him. We saw a good 4-game stretch a couple years ago, but like since then, what have we really seen from him? So I think he gets cut.
Okay, so I'm a little similar here. Obviously Sanders, like you said, is the lock. He's going to be the 1-2 back. Johnson, Kerryon Johnson, I think is going to be that 3rd down cowbell back. I think, like you said, they spent a draft pick on Gainwell this year. They're going to see what he is. He's a lock. I think he's a lock. Unless he has a terrible training camp, but I haven't really heard anything. And then it's that 3rd. Well, I think Gainwell is going to be the 3rd or 4th guy, but it's that last spot. It's between Scott and Howard, and the things I've been reading about Howard is he's having a great training camp.
Right.
Take that with a grain of salt because they're playing without pads. They're playing,
Right, for sure. Yeah.
without pads. I mean, when you're in a game and you need to pick which hole to run through. I mean, it's different.
Absolutely.
But and I like Jordan Howard. I liked when they got him a couple years ago. But I don't know. I think they keep Boston Scott for the simple fact that, and I agree. I think they go 4 on the roster. I think they keep Boston Scott because of special teams. I think they keep him because he can do kick returns and punt returns and things like that. He may not be the best on the roster, but he could be a second option.
Well, didn't Gainwell do that in college? I mean, couldn't you essentially put Gainwell back there?
You could. I mean, you could. I don't how good is he? Because Scott can do it. How good is Gainwell? Just because he did it at Memphis doesn't mean he could do it in the NFL. He could. He very well could. But I think they with the way that at least the way that I see it is that the way that the special teams has been ran the last couple of years, not having Sproles out there and between not being on the team and being hurt the last like 4 or 5 years, and they just really haven't had much of a punt returner or kick returner. I think Rager's going to be the punt returner. I think Scott, if he makes the team, could be the kick returner. But I mean, you made a good point there. Honestly, you made me think there. I mean, maybe it is Gainwell. Maybe they do keep Jordan Howard. So
yeah.
You hit me with a curveball there, honestly.
Right, exactly. There you go. Well, I think the running back is definitely going to be a battle that comes down close to the end, with that 4th spot.
Right. So. I'm definitely excited to watch preseason for that.
Absolutely. But before you move on to your next question, just real quick, let me pull something on the screen here. Let me see if I can do this right. My first time doing this. There we go. Can you see
hold on. Yeah, there you go. Dear Carson, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
There you go. There's Zach Ertz with the blonde. All right. Lower look. All right, there we go. Sorry, I had to pull that up.
No, I got you, man. I appreciate it. All right, so outside of the pass rush, what are you intrigued most by from the defensive side of the ball? I mean, I know earlier you said Nelson, but
yeah, I said Nelson. Nelson's probably up there. Yeah, man. I mean, I guess just to see how this secondary looks. I mean, it kind of goes with Nelson. Looks all together. Like, you got another year of Slay. Yeah, he was very good, very effective last year, but now you have help on the other side. So just a secondary all around, man. That's probably a vague answer, but I think just Steven Nelson just brings a lot to the offense or the defense.
For sure. Honestly, I have a very similar answer.
Right.
Secondary. Yeah, secondary in general. Like you said, Slay's here for another year, so we'll get to see him stay in that one role, the one CB role. But I'm most excited to see specifically in the secondary, seeing Slay, Nelson play the outside and Maddox playing the slot, which is his, natural position, his best position. So getting a guy like Nelson, you can move Maddox into that spot. I'm also excited to see, like, in the secondary, especially what Kavon Wallace is, like the rest of this training camp and preseason. I don't know if he'll be the starting safety, but he's got a year under his belt. It was a weird year last year especially for rookies.
So he didn't play much, if at all, right? Like,
no, he didn't really play much at all. Yeah, he played a handful here. He played a lot of special teams. But I think he was a 4th round pick. So
third, I think, 3rd or 4th. But
third or 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see what he's got the rest of training camp, preseason. And I'm also interested in to see what Jonathan Gannon can do as a defensive coordinator. Like, how he'll handle the defense, his rotations, those types of things, like the blitz. Just seeing something different from Schwartz that we've seen the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, the defense got real stale under Schwartz. Like they just did. So it's something new and fresh. So I guess we can look forward to that, just all around. So
sure, and I feel like
because even if they do lose, I mean, at least we got something new to watch, right? They'll find new ways to lose. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, right. Keep it interesting.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, and definitely going back to what you said with Schwartz, it's like his first couple seasons he just wouldn't blitz, and then all hell broke loose last year, and he was just sending everybody. So, it's I'm definitely excited to see more of a hopefully seeing more of a consistent, sustainable defense.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. So the next thing I got two more things for you.
Yep.
I need a bold prediction on team MVP this year. Like, who has the best / Pro Bowl type season for the Eagles?
I think those are two different questions. Like, I think, like, are we talking about
Like,
MVP?
who do you think? Who do you think is the standout Eagle this year?
I think it could go one of two ways. Like, if this Eagles team is good, right? And I said I think you're the first question you asked. If this Eagles team is good, then your MVP is going to be Jalen Hurts because he's going to have to be. So he's kind of the guy that he's going to revolve around. Now, if this season is bad and Jalen Hurts is bad, and there's another guy that you could, that you could say there. I mean, I'm excited to see what Miles Sanders can do. Under a Nick Sirianni offense. He's got to stop fumbling the football, but he's one
And he's
guy.
got to catch the ball.
And that too. He's a guy that I'm excited to watch. Devontae Smith's up there, but if this team's going to be successful, it boils down to Jalen Hurts.
Okay. Now, all right. Let me get a little more specific here. Let's say they have 7 wins or 8 wins. They're around because you can't be 500, but they're around that 500. They're hovering around 500. Jalen Hurts is having he's not our quarterback of the future, but he's keeping not keeping them in it, but they're around there. Would you still go Miles Sanders?
Depending on what he does, obviously, but yeah, I think he has potential to do real special things in his offense. Especially with the ability of Jalen Hurts to move and things like that. You good? Delayed again?
Right. I think we're going in and out.
Yeah, this is
Can you hear me?
train. Yeah, I can hear you. This is a train wreck of a show. But back to, I know we're probably delayed, so I'm just going to talk right now.
Yeah, I think we're a little delayed.
We are, but back to but I did want to mention one thing, but before we move on, and I know you have one more question. A guy that I am excited to watch and say maybe he's an under the radar guy. Back to your question before is Jordan Mailata. We saw good things from him last year. He seems like he's got the inside track to make the starting line, right? Like Dillard doesn't look good apparently, and he's kind of inside looking out. I think Mailata has a legit chance to do something. I'm really excited to see what he can do because I was one of the biggest skeptics a couple of years ago of Jordan Mailata, and he impressed me last year, and I think he has a chance to do good things this year too.
I like it. Now to go to the question, my answer. So I guess this is kind of a vague question to be asked. But I'm going to go Devontae Smith. I think he has a good rookie year. But I want to go Devontae Smith. I think he's going to have a good rookie year. But I think I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball. I think I'm going to go Brandon Graham has another career year. Two years in a row. I'm going to go 10.5 sacks this year for BG. Another Pro Bowl. I believe in him. Look, he could suck for the rest of his career, and he'll forever be loved in this city. He's a great guy, great player. But I'm feeling it this year. I'm feeling the BG. I really am.
I love it. Yeah, man, he's already a fan favorite. Everybody thinks about the strip sack and all that, and he's never gonna have to buy another beer in this city again, right? So
right.
he's
a Philly guy too. He's here. He's going to be here forever until he dies.
Right.
So
yeah, pretty much.
He's up there with Bernie and those types of guys.
Don't get carried away.
No, he is. No, he's up there. He's not
carried away. Not
I'm not saying he's more. I'm not saying he's more than Bernie. I'm saying he's getting up there. He's getting up there with Bernie.
Slow it down. Slow it down a little bit.
For sure.
You had one more, right? One more question here.
Yep. So, the NFC, it seems to be open outside of the Bucks. Do you think the Eagles can make a run for a wild card spot? Do you think who else from the NFC outside of the Bucks that you think can make a little bit of noise this year?
I don't think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. In their division, I think the Cowboys are better, and I think the football team. I guess I can't call them the Redskins anymore, right? How do they not have a name yet?
You just said it.
Well, no, how do they not have like a legit team name? Like the Cleveland Indians changed their name overnight to the Guardians, or was that what it was? Guardians? They changed their name
Something like
overnight,
that, yeah.
and it's been like 3 years, and they're still the football team. I don't get it.
Yeah,
But
but
anyway,
the Indians. Well, real quick, the Indians. They've this has been a process the last like 2 or 3 years. And that's not going to start till next year, I believe.
yeah, it starts next season.
So I think Washington is going to have a team next year. I think the Washington football team is going to have a team next year and a team name next year. But the owner's a fucking asshole. So like,
for sure.
I
Yeah.
honestly I wouldn't be surprised if he just kept it the football team to be a jerk off.
just to be an asshole. That's fun.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I think I
So
think Washington's better.
Yeah, give me.
I think the Cowboys are better. Other teams on the NFC. The one question mark was the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, but now that he's locked up again in Green Bay, I think Green Bay is going to be right there. I think Seattle's going to be there. So, I don't think this Eagles team makes it.
All right, so I listed all the teams in the NFC that I think are top, on the cusp, and on the down.
Okay.
So I got on the top, I got the Bucks, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Packers.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see. I'm really
all four
curious to
of
see
those
what
teams-
Stafford's going to do in LA.
Yeah, for sure. He's either going to be he's either going to be 8-8 or they're going to lose in the first round. I mean, that's what Stafford is. But
Right.
there was a video of yesterday or today. Jalen Ramsey had a pick 6 off of him in training camp, and it said Jalen Ramsey's in midseason form, and somebody retweeted it or quote tweeted it and said, "So is Matthew Stafford."
That's fantastic. I like it.
So yeah, so I got those are my top 4: the Bucks, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Packers. I got a lot of teams on the cusp. I think the Panthers, the Cowboys, Washington, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Niners and the Cardinals are all on the cusp. I think they can make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs.
Well,
It all depends on a lot of things for those teams, like a lot of quarterback play.
I was about to say a lot of
those teams.
A lot of question marks in that range was quarterback. I mean, Carolina has a very good team, but what is who's there now? They got
Sam
the
Darnold.
Jets. Sam Darnold. Who is Sam Darnold? Is he a product of the Jets, or is he actually a decent quarterback? That remains to be seen. Who else did you have in that group? They say.
Well, I have the Cowboys. I don't think there's any questions about Dak. I have Washington, which obviously there are questions there.
Fitzpatrick,
the starter, he's not going to make it past week 10.
No, but when he's in
Vikings,
there, like he does some stuff. Like he's not bad when he's in. Yeah, but their defense is good enough.
Yeah, but he's not good.
Their defense is good enough to keep him in games.
He's a career backup quarterback.
No, sure, but they're good. Their defense is good enough to keep him in games.
I hear you. I agree with that, but they're not going to do anything.
No, probably not.
In my opinion, like they're not going to go far.
No,
maybe they make the playoffs. It's possible.
Right.
I got the Vikings. We know Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it does nothing for me.
Yeah. The Saints. It's the same issue.
Same issue. I mean,
the
Hill or Winston, I think, is still there, right?
Winston.
So yeah.
The Niners, same thing. Garoppolo can't stay healthy.
Just drafted Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah, we don't know what he is.
Right.
And the same thing with the Cardinals. The Cardinals, their defense isn't tremendous, as good as it was. They lost a couple pieces, and their quarterback, we don't know what he is yet.
And their coach has kind of been on the hot seat the last year or so. So if they don't make any sort of noise, he could get the boot
for sure. And then the last team I had, they're kind of on the cusp, but I have them on the down list. I think they could make the playoffs. I think they could be terrible. I don't know. It all depends on how the quarterback plays. But right now, I have them on the down list. They're probably at the top of the down list. I have the Bears, the Giants, the Lions, and the Falcons. And obviously, I kept the Eagles off this list, but because I don't,
I was gonna say you have them below the Giants, or where would you have them in?
No. I just didn't list the Eagles at all.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the rest of the NFC.
So Giants. I don't know where to really go with the Giants. I mean,
I think
they stink, right? Like they're just not good.
Yeah.
Who else was on that list?
I got the Bears at the top of the down list. Like I think they could possibly be
quarterback. quarterback's a big
Right.
issue there, right? Like, who is Justin Fields? Is he going to live up to the hype in year one? Is he even going to start right away? I don't know
Right.
who's I
Andy
don't know who their other
Dalton.
quarterback. Oh, Andy Dalton. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I don't even know if he's going to start right away. So that's
Right.
kind of the big question mark. It seems like a lot of these teams.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I got the Lions. I think the Lions could lose every game this year.
I mean, with Jared Goff, I guess you're right. Like
Yeah.
that's who they have. Goff and Swift.
And then,
are,
the
like, there's
Falcons.
only two players. The Falcons.
They have a good offensive line.
Yeah. Well, they just
They have
drafted.
nobody to throw the ball to.
Who did they just draft high in the? Was it Sewell or was it Slater?
Sewell. Yeah, it was
Sewell.
Sewell.
Okay, yeah, I knew they got one of them. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
their line is good, but the defense stinks, and they got nobody to throw to. With as I don't even know who the receivers are anymore because they all left, didn't they?
Yeah. Jones.
Galladay left, didn't
Galladay.
he? Yeah.
And he actually went to the Giants, and I saw something today that he's dropping everything apparently.
Is he
in
really?
practice. Like, yeah, like somebody tweeted one of the Giants. I don't know how I saw it. It just went all over Twitter. You know how Twitter works. But
Yeah.
one of the beat writers like tweeted like, Galladay just battled the sun and dropped the ball. Like he said he battled air and the sun for the ball and he dropped it or something like that.
And he lost. He lost that battle.
Yeah. But yeah, the last time I got to the Falcons, I think the rookie's going to be good. Kyle Pitts, we know who Matt Ryan is. Calvin Ridley's going to catch a million balls. I don't even know who's the running. Do they even have a running back? I don't even know.
That reminded me because I was thinking about Julio. Did you even have Titans on your list anywhere? Oh no, never mind. We're just doing NFC. Never mind. We're just doing NFC, right?
No, we're doing NFC. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. Never mind.
Hey, I can come up with an AFC week. I can come up with an AFC
maybe we'll do
list
that
next week.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that next week. Just go
right.
AFC preview. Yeah, I'm cool with that. There's a little teaser for next week.
Yeah. Hey man, we're getting
So.
football back. I am.
I'm so excited.
I am so excited.
They play 1 week from Thursday, I believe, right against the Steelers.
The preseason. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
there you go. And in a week and a half, we will have Eagles football to watch. So.
I can't wait. It sucks because like all my fantasy drafts are like the last week of August and like, I'm excited. I'm always excited for the Eagles, but obviously this year.
Speaking of fantasy drafts, I gotta mention it. You wore the shirt a couple weeks ago. Drunk on Brawl podcast, friends with the guys over there. We're gonna be in their fantasy, their podcast fantasy league. Good guys over there, starting a league up, trying to network a little bit, right? Trying to all for the what do you call it? The golden mic. I think
The golden mic.
The golden mic.
Yes.
Strictly for bragging rights. I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be a fun time.
When I win it, it's gonna be like right here, like right next to me every show. So I can just show it off and rub it in your face because we're not a team. We're going against.
We're not
each other,
exactly.
So.
We're going against each other. So when that comes out, maybe we'll break down our rosters if anybody really gives a shit about that. But probably not. But it's
probably not. No, I mean, I look. If you're a football fan, even if you don't play fantasy football, it's cool to kind of listen to other people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm always interested. We always talk every year about our teams,
Absolutely.
Leagues that we're not even in. So I'm sure people they're not, losing sleep over it, but
right. No, I doubt it.
But
so anything else Eagles wise before we move on? I mean, again, Eagles football right around the corner. We'll have more to talk about in the next few weeks, training camp battles, all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, I look, like you said, we'll have more in the next couple weeks. I'm excited. I'll be at the practice on Sunday. I'm gonna break shit down for you guys. I'm gonna tell you who looks good, who looks bad, and I'm fired up, baby. I can't wait.
Fired up.
I'll be at the link on Sunday night at 7:00.
There you go. Fired up. All right, I'm excited. So yeah, let's move on then. We're gonna do everybody's favorite segment. and by everybody I mean everybody except me, and we're gonna do some trivia. So let's do this.
All right, so we have two Phillies. We've got 2 Eagles and a Flyers.
2 Phillies, 2 Eagles, and a Flyers. Let's go. Let's go the Eagles because they're still top of mind. Maybe that'll help me out a little bit.
Okay. So this is actually a fan submission question.
Was this Doug? Did Doug put you up to this? Did Doug put you up to this?
I'm not naming names.
Friend of the show, Doug.
It is a
okay.
fan submitted question. We actually have two of them, but one
Okay.
Eagles is a fan submitted question.
Yep.
All right, so like all our listeners and viewers, you know the deal. Just well, if you're listening, just listen to the question, pause it, answer it, and then hit play.
Right.
All right, so the first one, Eagles. On the lead up to the Eagles' 2004 Super Bowl appearance, Freddie Mitchell trash talked along the way about guys not being able to cover him. Which Patriots defensive player said, I had more catches than Freddie Mitchell, end quote. He had 12 tackles, 2 interceptions, and having one of the best defensive playoff performances ever.
This was a fan question.
It is. I'm going to add a little bit to it.
Okay. All right. What year was this?
Super Bowl. It was the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Okay.
2004.
I'm gonna go
So,
the first name that comes to mind, and I'm gonna say it is Ty Law.
Ty Law. Wow, that's a good one. Is that your final answer?
The fact that you were surprised at that answer and you didn't say yes right away makes
you're not very good at
wrong.
trivia. No, you're not very good at trivia. So that was a good guess. Like,
yeah,
you could have gotten it.
That's my final answer. I mean, it sounds like it's wrong, but that's my final anser.
It is wrong, but
Yeah,
that was actually way better than I thought you were gonna do. Honestly,
okay, yeah.
I don't have much confidence in you, but no, it is Rodney Harrison.
Okay, all right, it's another good name though. I mean, maybe with enough tries I would have gotten there.
Probably not.
So, listen, I thought it was a pretty. I thought Ty Law was a pretty good guess. You know,
it was a great guess. Honestly,
right.
I haven't heard that name since 2004.
Right, exactly.
All right, you want to go to the next Eagles?
Yeah, let's go next Eagles.
All right. So in 2000, the Eagles went 11-5. Who led the Eagles in receiving yards that year?
And what year was this?
2000.
2000.
They went 11-5.
Who
led the Eagles in receiving yards that year?
Who led the? Let's go. Freddie Mitchell. Hopefully, there's a theme.
Is that your final answer?
That is
incorrect.
Incorrect. Look at Doug Poppin. Look at Doug Poppin and
Chad Lewis.
Chad Lewis. Chad Lewis was the leading receiver.
69 for 735. They went 11-5.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, defenses can go a long way.
For sure. And a good quarterback. I mean,
yeah. What was that McNabb's rookie year or was that his second year?
No, second year.
Second year, okay.
Yeah, he was drafted in 99.
Right.
I think, right? 99, 98, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was 99.
All right, so let's get on to the next one. Like I said, I got 2 Phillies and I got a Flyers.
We're planning to go on with the Flyers after the trivia, so maybe we'll just transfer that. So we'll do Phillies first, and then try Flyers, and then maybe we'll go on a Flyers talk after that. So let's do the Phillies.
This is another fan submitted question by anonymous. I'm sorry, anonymous.
Anonymous. Yep. Mm-hmm. I see what you guys are doing. I see what you guys are doing. You're ganging up on me, and I don't really appreciate it. I feel attacked. I feel attacked personally.
Hey man, it's an anonymous. I'm not saying who did it. I mean,
yeah.
All right, so on May 29th, 2010, Roy Halladay threw a perfect game against the Florida Marlins, now the Miami Marlins. Can you name the player who made the final out of the game?
May 29th, 2009.
10.
I thought you said 9.
No, May 29th, 2010.
May 29th, 2010. The final out of the Roy Halladay game, you said, right?
The perfect game, yeah.
The perfect game, okay. What batter man or who caught
who made the last out on the Phillies? The defensive play, yeah.
The funny thing is, I've heard this question before. And I don't remember the fucking answer. I don't remember who it was.
Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what people are gonna learn is like my memory is piss poor. I have a terrible memory. Yeah, I I have no.
Just throw a
2010.
guess out there.
I'm getting there. Relax. I'm thinking. I'm thinking this through a little bit. I'm going to say. God, why don't I remember this? Shane Victorino.
Actually, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
He did. He actually did. I think he made the first out of that inning or second out of that inning. It was actually a ball in the warning track that he caught. It is not Shane Victorino.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I had a little bit of issue with this question because, when he asked me this question, because he asked me it before, I actually got it wrong. I thought it was Wilson Valdez. It was not. It was actually a bench player. There is zero shot you were going to get this. It is Juan Castro.
Yeah, he's an asshole. He's an asshole for asking that question. He's like, I mean,
he Juan Castro probably played 60 games that year, if that.
yeah.
And he just so happened to start at third base that game. And
If I were to Google the 2010 Phillies lineup and you gave me 15 guesses, I don't think I would have said Juan Castro.
No.
Even if I Googled it, I wouldn't have said him. I would have said like the fourth reliever instead of him. Like there's no chance I was gonna say Juan Castro.
That was a hard one. Like I said, I even got it wrong. So
I see what you guys are doing. I see what you guys are doing. You guys are ganging up on me. That's fine. He started at shortstop, not third base. Who gives a shit where he started? It's goddamn Juan Castro. Yeah, whatever.
All right. So we got the next Phillies question.
Pretty soon. None of the listeners know who Doug is. You know what? Maybe next week after, whenever we have time, maybe I'm gonna have Doug come on and we could ask him trivia. See how well he does, since he's the one that loves it so much.
Are you gonna help me with the questions? Because questions they're diddling down.
Absolutely.
I'm searching everywhere for them. I'm coming up with questions. So
absolutely, because with a question like that, I'm gonna pick a question like, in the third inning of a game in 1985, the camera panned out to a guy in the dugout picking his nose. Who was it? Like,
and then you're gonna shit on him when he doesn't do it, when he doesn't get it.
Exactly. Like, because that question is absurd.
All right, so we got another Phillies
question.
No, we got one more Phillies.
We got one more Phillies. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so Bryce Harper is the biggest contract salary in Phillies history at 13 years, $330 million, or whatever the fuck it was. Ryan Howard is second at $190 million. Can you name the third biggest contract salary in Phillies history?
So the total money spent, basically, with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's my guess is, so I got like two or three guys on my mind. My guess is it's somebody from that World Series team. Rollins comes to mind. Utley comes to mind. Obviously, it wasn't worth because he went and got a bigger contract elsewhere. But then for some reason, my mind's also telling me Jim Tomei's up there. I'm gonna say I don't think it was Rollins because he wasn't. Let's go Utley. I'll go Utley.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer. Yeah. I don't think it's it, but
no, I think he was like fourth or fifth, to be honest.
Okay.
It was Cliff Lee.
Cliff, really?
At 100, at 122.2, fucking bunch of numbers.
Wow.
Million. Yeah.
It's a lot for Cliff Lee.
Yeah. And I think it was a lot shorter than guys that get contracts now. I mean, I think it was only like 4 or 5 years. So.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll move on to the Flyers. The last question for trivia. I actually had to change this question a little bit about an hour before we jumped on.
It was real quick. It was 5 years, $120 million. The Cliff Lee contract.
Okay. So 120. Okay. So this last question for the Flyers, I had to change it up a little bit because I thought it was a little too easy because I think this was actually something that was going around Twitter like a month ago.
Okay.
So I didn't want to give you too much of a softball. So Bobby Clark leads the Flyers franchise with 1,144 games played in the orange and black. Claude Giroux is second. Did you know that Giroux was second? Because I feel like I saw that on Twitter.
I'm sure I could have thought of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said his name right off the bat though, honestly.
Right. Okay. So Bobby Clark is number 1. Giroux is number 2. Who is third all time in games played in the orange and black?
Okay, so it wasn't a guy like Lindros. It's not any of the current guys, I don't think. Voracek hasn't been here quite long enough. I'm going to.
I will tell you this: Voracek was like 7th or 8th.
Yeah, because I mean he was here for 10 years. I guess I have to say was now that he's no
Right.
longer with us.
Right.
So
this guy is at 903. Voracek was like 727 or something. He was in the top 10, somewhere around 10, like 9 or 10 or 8.
the
Voracek.
first name that comes to you said 900 games this guy played.
903.
The first name that comes to mind is Bill Barber. He leads the franchise lead in goals. That's my first thought. So I'm going to say Bill Barber. That's my final answer. Lock it in.
That's your final answer.
Yep.
You are correct.
Hey, there
It
we
is
go.
Bill Barber.
There we
903.
go. Oh, there we go. All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, as a good guess.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I feel like you would have gotten Giroux because like I feel like I saw that recently. Like at the end of the season, I feel like it was like
Yeah, that's
Giroux
true.
has
Well, I
But,
think I would have said Drew Barber 2-3. I don't know if I would have gotten the exact order, honestly.
right.
There's a chance I could have flip flopped them for sure.
Right, for sure. Yeah, so that's all I got for you for this
All
week.
right, so what did I go? 1 for 5, I think,
Yeah,
or 2 for 5? No, I think it was 1 for 5.
I believe it was 1 for 5.
Whatever.
Yeah, we don't do this for you anymore. We do this
No,
for
no,
our
absolutely.
amusement.
Exactly. The our listeners out there, all like 6 of them. We do this for them.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. The Miserable over here.
Yeah, exactly.
We have more than 6 listeners.
8, 9, 10. Whatever. Anyway.
No, more than that.
But yeah, we can transfer.
Debbie Downer over here.
We can transfer to the Flyers. It's good. It's a good segue there, though. They did a couple things. I mean, obviously the busy time. Last week we talked about all the moves they made last week, but free agency opened up. Free agency opened up shortly after that. They signed Martin Jones, goalie from San Jose. Played there the last couple years, and then they not re-signed, but they brought back a guy, Nate Thompson, who was here a couple years ago in the Dave Hackstall era and all that. Did you have any sort of take on these two guys? I mean, they're depth pieces almost at this point, but did you have anything about these guys?
Martin Jones is one of those guys that he was very good at one point in the last couple years. He hasn't been. I feel like the Flyers are really going on that hope kind of feel with a lot of these guys. If he was my backup goalie, I think I'd be all right, but he's going to split time. So, it's a little worrisome. But you know what? I'm excited for the Flyers, so I'm in. Let's do it. I'm in on Jones. Yeah. I mean, who's the other guy?
Nate Thompson.
Nate Thompson. My only thing with Nate Thompson, I think he's good physically. He's going to be a fourth line guy. I just kind of hope he doesn't. And I know these young guys. I know you've said it before. These young guys have to earn their spot on this team. I just hope he's not too much of a roadblock for these guys, for these young guys like Morgan Frost and other forwards. So it's fine if he's scratched. He's a scratch. And he plays every once in a while. He plays for injuries. But like you said, it's a depth piece. But what do you think about these guys?
Yeah, well, there's actually a third one, and we'll get to that a little later. But because I did forget about him, honestly. But yeah, I mean, Martin Jones is one of the guys. I mean, you said it, he's not just gonna be a backup. Like if Carter Hart plays well and is back to form and is their number one goalie, yeah, he's just a backup. But if things go south, if Carter Hart needs time off, if Carter Hart gets hurt, those things, Martin Jones can step in because that's really one of the benefits to Jones is he's a workhorse. Like over the last handful of seasons, this goes back to 2015, 2016 when he went to San Jose. He played 65 games, 65 games, 60 games, 62 games, 41 in a shortened COVID season, 34 in another COVID shortened season. So he's a workhorse. He plays a lot, and he's shown that his body can handle a full season of playing a lot. 65 games started is a lot for a goalie in the NHL.
Yeah.
That's like
Especially right now.
Yeah, that's like an upper tier. Like goalies usually play like 50 to 55 games. So 65 is a lot of games for a goalie to play. So if you need him to play, a 1, 2, 3 week stretch, he can do it. His body's not going to break down, and that's the thing that is what I think they were trying to go away from when they didn't sign Brian Elliott or re-sign Brian Elliott. Right. Is they were trying to get a guy who they can just trust to not break down. Now it's a race.
How old?
Martin Jones?
How old is he? Yeah.
Martin Jones is
33?
31.
Okay. Oh, it's younger than I thought.
Yeah, it's
not
one,
really
yeah.
2 years.
Right.
Really matters. But.
Yeah, and it's only a 1 year deal, and if somebody else becomes available next year, I could easily see them moving on after a year. But it's a risk in the sense that like the last couple of years haven't worked. But the Flyers goalie coach is the same goalie coach that he had in LA when he was successful and got him that starting job in San Jose. So maybe they're sort of, let's try to redo that magic, right? Like,
right, and I also think I don't know if you're going to bring this up, but I'm going to steal it if you do.
Yeah, go for it.
In San Jose, he did, and look, the Flyers defense, we're not sure what it is yet, but on paper it looks good. So. There was a lot of struggle there in San Jose with the guys in front of him. So maybe it works out here if these guys work out on the defensive side.
Right. Yeah, it could. And a lot of people, like Flyers fans, weren't happy about this move at all. For some reason, they wanted Braden Holtby, who has been
I'm actually one of them.
Well, he's been equally as bad as Jones, maybe even worse over the last 2 years. So they're very comparable, if you ask me. They both struggled over the last handful of years. So.
I just think Holtby would have been better for Carter Hart. Because he's had a lot of, he's got a cup. He's got success being that guy, number one guy in a big market in Washington. Obviously he was in Vancouver last year, but I think I'd read somewhere a rumor that he wanted to stay out west, so coming east wasn't even really much of an option for him.
Right?
Did he go to Dallas or something?
I honestly don't even remember where he went. I know he got the same exact contract as Jones. I don't remember where he went though. Honestly.
Right. Yeah, I believe it was Dallas.
Right. Okay. I mean that would make sense. But yeah, I mean it's just one of the, Martin Jones has gotten his team to the Cup final. So I know you said that about Holtby. So he's also been there. He hasn't won it, but he did get there, and he really took that team on his back because he was dominant those years. So
yeah, like I said. I wasn't too happy about it, but you know what? I'm so excited for the Flyers right now.
Yeah,
I'm on board. I'm on board.
And then Nate Thompson, he's just a depth piece. It's really all he is. He's a fourth line center at best, and at worst he's in the press box, and there's somebody else there that's going to be the fourth line center. He's just depth, and he plays tough, and he's a forechecker, and he's going to the dirty areas, and he'll bang you. He's a prick to play against. He's just that type of guy that the Flyers missed and lacked last year. So, I mean, it could work out. He had a really good year in Winnipeg last year. So it's a low risk. I don't even want to really say high reward because you're not going to get much out of him other than a fourth line player. But it's just low risk. It's just a
nice
safe
reward.
signing. Yeah, nice reward. Sure. Yeah. And then they did sign, because I don't think we mentioned it last week because it happened afterwards. They did sign defenseman Keith Yandel.
Right.
Who it's a pretty big move. It's not world beating, but he's I think that move shows more of the mindset that we're not gonna get fooled around by prospects and hype, and you're gonna come here, you're gonna compete with the guys. If you don't beat out Keith Yandel, you're not on the team, and that's really a direct shout out to Cam York. Like this spot isn't yours. You're gonna have to work for it.
For sure. And I also think they're bringing in a lot of these guys like Cam Atkinson and Yandel and Nate Thompson, because these are good locker room guys. So
Ryan Ellis.
Clearly,
Yeah.
there was something going on in the locker room where they needed to change something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, Ryan Ellis. I think they six of the guys they brought in this year brought in a lot of leadership, which you really like to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there was something wrong with that room, right? Like I know you mentioned it a little bit, but there was something going on there. So
For sure.
and yeah, it was the end.
And
of the year
I also think the Iron Man streak's going to end this year, unfortunately.
I think it will too. I think he can break the record. I think in a game in January or February if he doesn't get. Yeah, it's going to be close. He can break the record. I think it's right around then. I don't remember the exact game. It's either January or February. So, but yeah, I mean, it's 1 year, $950K. I don't expect when you sign a contract like that, you don't really expect to be an everyday player, and I think he realizes that. So if it was to end,
Right.
I don't think he would be super upset, or like he knows like it's probably time. But I'm curious if they try to stretch it as long as possible if he plays well. Like I think they're going to try to stretch as long as possible to try to see if he can break that record.
For sure, and I think it's really cool and really great to see that because when he hit free agency, he had said that one of the first places he had thought about coming was Philly, and like when like this was his top choice, and maybe he said it because he signed here, but it's still nice to hear like maybe we are better than what we were last year, so
Right.
it's always good to have the guys that say I want to be there.
Right. Exactly. So, all right, that's really all. I mean, that's kind of this is the roster that the Flyers are going to have come. Probably they're gonna have come September and October. They still have to re-sign Sanheim and Hart, who are restricted free agents. They don't have a contract yet, so they'll get done. Sanheim just the team filed for arbitration for Sanheim, so that's normal. That happens a lot, so we'll see what that number comes in at. I don't know when the arbitration hearing is or when any of that stuff happens, but it's going to arbitration
sometime soon.
Yeah, I would imagine it's sometime soon.
Training camp starts in September, right?
Late August, early
We're
September.
all late August, yeah. So they've only got a couple of weeks here.
Right, exactly.
I'm not worried about it, but
yeah, and sometimes people don't get in there without contracts. People don't get in there, till mid-September. Right. Sometimes, like it happened with Connect. His wasn't an arbitrator. His was just a signed contract. Right. So it was a little different. He didn't. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens then. I'm excited for Flyers hockey, but that's really all we got to talk about.
Carter Hart's just restricted, right? He's not arbitration.
Yeah, he's not arbitration eligible, so I don't believe. So he's gonna he's restricted free agent. I don't see him really breaking the bank. It's probably gonna be a 2 to 3 year deal. I don't know, $3 million
and
ish.
Yeah, and let's just explain a little bit about arbitration. It's basically just like the team offers you X amount of dollars, and you can basically. I mean, I know that's how it works in baseball. You can negotiate a little bit.
It's very similar, yeah. Right? So they can sign a contract whenever they want if both sides agree to it. But the Flyers believe his numbers one thing, and he believes his numbers another thing, and they can't really agree on it. So they go to an arbitrator, and the arbitrator will decide what contract he gets. Yeah, basically.
Imagine having that job.
Yeah, and apparently, it's been a thing like among hockey circles and former hockey players that say like that process is harsh because a lot of it going in is a team obviously wants you because you're their player, they like you for some reason, but a lot of the negotiating to the arbitrator is them just trashing you. Like, well, this guy does this, and this, so that's why I don't want to pay him that much. Like, it's just them just trashing you the whole fucking time.
And then when they finally sign you, it's like, oh, thanks for coming back. Like, you're a great player.
Exactly.
Yeah, it should be. That's an interesting job because like I'm sure you have to be a lawyer, right?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
sure like
automatically.
lawyers they're lawyers. So like I don't know. I think that's a really interesting job to like. I would love to like sit in on one of them. Like I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be funny.
It's just like you're sitting at a bar. Like, what do you do for a living? Well, I handle arbitrations. Like,
Right.
what does your dad do, or what does your mom do for a living? Like, they're arbitrators. Like
Right.
is
Exactly.
that even a word? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But
All right. Well, let's move on. We don't have much Sixers wise, but let's move on to the Sixers before we get out of here. We're already at like an hour 15, so we'll keep this short. They did have a draft. Free agency is tonight, or it started tonight. I think 6 o'clock it started. Um, so let's just talk about the draft first. I don't really know much about college basketball. Barely know anything about the NBA, so I don't really know how much who these players are. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about them. But at 28, they picked
yeah.
Jaden Springer, freshman out of Tennessee, guard, 6'4". And know anything about this guy? Hello.
Not a
Okay, there
thing.
you go. Okay.
That's the yeah, no, that's kind of the bad thing about picking so late in the NBA draft. You really don't know what these guys are. Even guys like Thibault and Maxey, we really weren't 100% sure on.
Right.
And obviously those guys were taken a lot earlier than 28. So, yeah, I don't really know much about this kid. If anybody does know anything about him, they're probably a huge college basketball fan, and we really don't have a lot of those anymore. And I don't
For what it's worth,
how many people really watch Tennessee basketball? So
right.
like,
for what it's worth, I did come prepared to have a little bit of a preview of
we're still a little delayed.
We're very delayed, but we're just battling through the elements. But I do have a little bit of a scouting report here. It says a combo guard with a developing game. He lacks explosiveness and has a smooth game and good shooting touch. 43% from deep, 81% free throws.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna get much like playing time really early on. He's gonna have to earn it, especially in Doc's system. That's just the way the Doc is. You know, you're young, you're a rookie. Even if you're not a rookie, if you're young, you gotta earn your minutes. To be honest, I really wasn't expecting them to have a draft pick that night.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna trade it for a vet, but obviously nothing went through. They probably just didn't really have any offer they really liked. So we'll see.
Right. And then they picked at number 50, Philip Petrusev. I think I said that right. All my years of watching hockey finally paid off in the NBA. Philip Petrusev. It sounds like a hockey name. Center out of Serbia.
He's European, right?
Yeah, Serbia. Yeah. 6'11" center, 21 years old. The former Gonzaga big man can play inside and out with solid scoring and playmaking skills. The Serbian national has filled out and is ready for the NBA. That's a little scouting report that I have. So,
oh, there you go. Look at you.
look at me, the
Who would
insider.
have thought?
Yeah, exactly. I come prepared, But I mean, the Dwight Howard.
Hey.
Dwight Howard did sign. I think he's back with the Lakers now, right? So he did sign there tonight.
Yes.
So maybe this guy comes in as their backup. I mean, he's a second round pick in the NBA. Who knows really what he is? You probably don't want him to be your backup starting day one, but it's an option.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them get another wing player. In this free agency, like you said, Dwight's gone. I really didn't want him back anyway. Too many fouls, stupid fouls in the playoffs. Like you said, he went back to the Lakers. He's going to win another championship there.
I don't know about that, but yeah,
they're going to win.
How? Why do you say that? They were terrible last year.
Well, first off, they weren't terrible. They made the playoffs. They were 60. They went to I think they went to 7 games, or at least 6.
They lost in the first round.
Terrible.
The LeBron team lost in the first round.
I hear you. But it's just the bench that they're putting together is the same. It's kind of similar to what they did when they won. What was it? Not last year, not this year, but last year. They signed Wayne Ellington. They signed Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza. They're gonna have absolutely no shooting in the starting lineup because they signed Westbrook went there. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, noted winner, noted
team
player and winner, Russell Westbrook.
Is it, the Lakers literally? The Lakers literally put out an ad and said, "We need shooters," and they brought in a guy who has not shot well in like 3 years.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's
Yeah.
definitely going to be spacing issues. I hear you, but it's LeBron. They're gonna if
Fuck LeBron.
I guess if Brooklyn stays healthy, I guess they have a shot to beat them. But I just
Right.
I feel it in my bones. Lakers are gonna win again. I mean, LeBron's
Yeah,
gonna get another one.
Hopefully not, because LeBron sucks.
Yeah.
Space Jam still sucks. Whatever. Fuck LeBron.
It's just what this is episode 15. We've talked about LeBron at least 10 times.
At least. We're gonna have to have like a LeBron ticker up at the top of the screen
Yeah.
every time we mention his name. Just ding, ding.
We can have a little shot clock, and once the shot clock's over, we stop talking about LeBron.
Right. Exactly. So,
But yeah, I mean, going into the Sixers free agency, obviously it started at 6:00 today. I think they need to get a wing player. They brought back Korkmaz. They need another shooter. Maybe
3
another
years.
point guard.
3 years, $15 million for Korkmaz. What do you think about that? I mean, I know.
Oh my God.
I feel like Korkmaz is split among the Sixers fans. Like I feel like
I wouldn't say that.
You don't think so? I think a lot of people.
No, I
still
think
like him.
everybody loves him. I think
You think
everybody
so?
still loves
Really?
him.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah. A lot of people are excited about this 3 years. Was it 15? You said
15. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think he's a guy who can. He's so inconsistent, and like as a shooter, I get it. Like if you're not going to be consistent as a 3-point shooter unless you're great, and he's not great. He's an okay shooter. He's an okay 3-point shooter. His free throws are horrendous, which I don't understand. As a 3-point shooter, you're supposed to be good at the free throw line. He shoots like 73% from the free throw line. Like
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. There's no consistency. He doesn't play any defense. Or tries at least. He sucks at defense. He'll have a 25-point night, 30-point night, and then he'll be gone for 10 games, and then he'll have another 30-point night, and everybody will love him. Like it just doesn't make sense. You're trying to force this guy to be this great shooter, and he fucking stinks. He stinks. He sucks.
Yep. There you go.
So I'm sorry, I'm getting fired up.
So Sixers fans love him, but just you personally hate him.
It's not just me. I would say like 85% of the fans love him.
Okay, that's fair.
I despise him. I am like, not only do I want him off my team, I want him out of my country. Like get him out.
You're deporting him, huh?
Yeah. Off my team, out of my state, out of my tri-state, out of my country.
That's a little harsh, no?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Listen,
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
That's what we do on the show. We get fired up. So
yeah.
All right, we got anything before we head out of here, Sixers wise? Any final thoughts you want to talk about? Anything at all? I mean,
just I just hope they don't stay pat.
Yeah,
I really hope they do something here.
Right.
I didn't think anything crazy was going to happen in free agency because really the biggest names are gone right now. So I really didn't think they were going to go after Kyle Lowry. But yeah, I just hope they do something.
Right.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and next week we'll maybe have some news to talk about Sixers wise. With what happens in free agency. So
For sure.
We'll see what happens then. All right, but so before we get out of here, I did have a couple plugs I want to mention. First off, we go check out our store. We dropped that a couple weeks ago. Check it out on our social media platforms. We've posted the links there. Check out really cool stuff. I haven't ordered anything yet. I plan on it. I want to. The hoodies look sick. The cups look sick. So I'm excited about that. So check that out. And then, so we did talk about it. Second plug, we did talk about it a couple weeks ago. Your fiance, who is a 7th grade English teacher, right?
Correct.
So she just put out an Amazon wish list of. If you want, you can take it. You probably know a little bit about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So today she released a Amazon wish list, just for donations for her 7th grade classroom. You can either donate money or you can buy something on the list. If you don't, even if you don't buy anything, it's still cool to check out and share with everybody.
Just share. If you can't donate, somebody else can.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if she really wants me to throw her name out there, but if anybody's interested, I guess you could either DM us or email us or, just kind of spread the word for her. That'd be really great.
Absolutely, and we'll share the link on our social media too.
For sure.
Get that out there. So, all right. Anything else, Dom? I think we're ready to head out of here. Got a busy
Uh,
week. You're gonna go to the Eagles practice on Sunday, and then are you going to Boston next week? Is that next week, right?
I've actually got a busy next couple of weeks. So we got the Eagles practice Sunday at 7. Then we got the Eagles first preseason game on Thursday, and then I go to Boston Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be back Monday for the show.
There you go.
So I'm going for my bachelor party.
Yep. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there.
Right.
Sucks. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got too little one at home.
The only thing I asked for you on Friday, you keep track of the Red Sox game. We'll be at Fenway.
Absolutely.
Red Sox Orioles. So that should be fun. It's my first time going to Boston, seeing Fenway. So
It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have a busy fall and winter. You get married in December. It's gonna be a fun time. So
For sure.
But all right, we'll get out of here. Follow us on all the platforms: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, at Fire Out Podcast. Yeah, and that's all I got for you. We'll be back next week to talk while I'm trying to stall here, trying to finish some things out. But yeah, all right. Well, we will be back next week. Say it.